So the reason I'm here and I'm doing this the morning after edition is because we really do have to sometimes wake up and have that sense of like, because if I want to get off this running around bandwagon, if I'm really tired of this, and that's the question, are you tired? If you're tired of it, we got to figure out how to move away from it. And the only way to do that, I'm going to take a tip from the sailors. You have to get a focus. You have to know where you want to go. You can't be in a ship out on the ocean just floating around, you know? So I titled this today for the leaving MAGA voters and the people that are literally don't know what to do. You're wearing the hat, you've all in, and yet this isn't right. This isn't feeling good to you. So if you're not feeling good about it, that's what we got to talk about. So the way that we're doing this, and I'm working this through today, it's kind of a refresher. Like I said, it's the morning after edition. So I've got this test. So this is the compass, really simple test. 4 questions, because you do have to stop and you have to test yourself. So let's be honest with ourselves. Let's respect ourselves. Okay, so the compass test, 0 to 100. You check yourself, check your own scores. Here we go. 0. I'm not feeling this at all. My MAGA regret is a 0. Or it's 100. Yeah, I love MAGA. This is fantastic. It's 100. Your choice. Number 1, 4 questions. Number 1, the economy. Are you really happy with the economy? 0 to 100. Number 2, ICE. Yes, how about those immigration enforcements? How about all that drama in the streets? Is the military still in your neighborhood? 0 to 100. Next up, here we go. The war. It may or may not be a war because it wasn't officially ever declared a war, but our military is over there. Our service members are in danger. We're spending $1 billion a day dropping a bunch of bombs and military stuff. Is that what you promised? 0 to 100. And the last one is faith. I'm putting faith out there as the big final straw. Is what he's doing religious the way that you practice your faith? 0? We have to talk about this. Or 100, go back to your party. They've got as many problems as the MAGA people do. We got to figure this out. And being able to have a respectful conversation is what it begins with. So I've decided we need a new code. The code is going to be respect and truth. Respect myself, be honest with myself, because then I can respect others and give it to others and be honest with others and live in a fantastic world. Not the big political stuff for the big political guy. And so we have to figure these problems out, and we have to get to these points of view. And yes, because you've got to talk about different points of view. So here we go. Yes, this is two-sided divided. This is part of the problem. We have to get past this me and you business. Because if we are going to find a solution, then we need to think about it a little differently. And so this is the simple graphic organizer. You wanted to have a solution. And you know, sometimes you just got to say, oops, I made a mistake. This wasn't exactly the solution that I thought it was going to be, because we still need a solution. So put on those respect goggles. Here I am. Put on that respect and put on that truth values. Put those on. Let's talk about the past. What were your experiences that led you to wanting to be in MAGA? Because those experiences and those assumptions have value, and I want to talk about them. And in the future, your legacy and your expectations of what you want, absolutely. We have to fill this all in with all your information. And so here's the question. Yes, here's the question. MAGA, Trump, JD. So the promises are in action. The prices, the military, the corruption. Step back. Think about it. And I'm hearing a lot of talk on the internet that people are beginning to feel this betrayal and are beginning to feel a sense of unrest and not sure what to do. Because in a situation, with a betrayal, like it's a romantic situation, they broke their trust, the promises, the things they said were not true. And it sets up this question of what else wasn't true, or how do I know what's the facts and what's everybody's opinions? And so as a teacher here, I want to get back to making sure I'm following my notes. Yes, I'm talking about the political division in the United States and having a way to have a peaceful conversation. So it is about, again, this question of should I leave or should I stay in MAGA? Are they delivering on those campaign promises? And I believe they're not. I believe it is a huge betrayal of the United States. And for me, it started with the disrespect and with the lying. So between those two values, then you love this. This is great. But if not, we have to talk about this. So this is the journey. This is what we're on. And I want to make sure that we're following some of these directions and some of these charts that I have, even though they're funny. It's this tipping point. Are we getting to this tipping point? Are you feeling like you've got to figure out what are you going to do about leaving MAGA? And I know that's hard. If you're thinking about leaving MAGA, that's hard because you're going to have to take that hat off. You're going to have to figure some things out. And so I'm talking about today the big O. Okay, I got the big O. Here we go. So we've got the vision, we've got the focus, my catalyst power. I've got a program, it's called the Catalyst Power. It's going to kick up your energy. You can see how mine is, right? So that is going to give you the power to make this pivot, to make the decision that yes, you gotta leave MAGA. It's tearing you apart. And I'm going to show you the way that it's going to be easy to figure out what comes next. Life after MAGA. And here's the fun part. I think it's the fun part. Okay. We're going to have so many really cool options because we're going to be able to talk about them. We're going to be able to brainstorm. We're going to be able to bring in the resources and work together again because we're going to have common bonds, common goals, respect, truth. Isn't that what America was about? That means you're solid. You're solid. Your rewards, your relationships, your money, and your independence, your brain, your beautiful brain gets to work. That's what I'm doing. So it's a lot of really important stuff, but it's in us already. And we have to have the power in ourselves to be strong enough to pivot out of the gang, out of that trap, out of that BS, because those promises are not true. They're not coming true. The betrayals are happening. So this is the MAGA Exit Countdown. Here's my cute little card here. And I realized that we have 18 weeks until voting day, which is pretty much like a whole school year. In fact, it is 180 days. Could be. Anyway, off the train of thought here. I have a training program that can help people figure out what to do about their political affiliation. So this particular episode is called Following the Money. And yes, I've made big graphic notes for myself, as well as being able to then share the information with everybody, because it is a program that I want people to be able to pick up these tools. What we're going to do here is take your notes and your receipts, and you're going to score them. Okay? You're keeping them. You're creating your file folder, which is why I got the file folder. Okay? So you're going to take your notes, you're going to put them in the folder. Every week we're going to add to them. You could do it in a notebook. You could do it in a drawing pad. Here's my sketch pad. Okay? Lots of different ways you can keep the information, but you're going to have to keep this together. So that's the first assignment. Okay? Second thing, let's get our values aligned. We have to go with respect and truth. I've got it up here as our new code. So let's look up here at the new code, respect and truth. Respect ourselves, be honest with ourselves. That comes first. Because then if you put it out to other people, you will be getting it back and multiplied. So that's the compass. Up here again, I've got all kinds of resources to help people figure out how to make the decision on voting day. You have 18 weeks to figure this out. MAGA voters, GOP, the old-time Republican Party. You guys, that's who I'm talking about, okay? This is getting your values back aligned. And this is the money episode. I want to ask you, is greed okay? Are you greedy? Are you aligned with the corruption, with the mafia, with the gangsters? Because it's a gang, okay? It's a gang. And when I look at it as a reading teacher, in the Focus to Pivot, we use the graphic organizers to line up our ideas in a vertical chart. So I'm calling this Let's Make a Deal worksheet, because what we do is we're going to line up the issues. These are the same ones that we talked about in the Focus to Pivot course. I'm going to sit here now. I'm showing you how I'm doing it so you can do your own. Make this worksheet. This is simple. Draw the lines. Draw these lines. This isn't hard. My point of view on the economy, I'm going to write it down here, and then I'm going to go talk to my friends and my neighbors. And we're just going to talk about just one thing at a time. The prices and the jobs. What do you think we should be doing? What would you propose? This is a Let's Make a Deal proposal worksheet. I think that's a proposal. And so do you think that could work? What would you propose? How about taxes? And how about this opportunity idea? And then go across the street and talk to your neighbor over there and be like, hey, what do you think about this idea? And if we can start talking about, hey, I respect you and I want to be truthful. I want to live together in peace. We have to figure this out. So this is an upgraded chart. This is and you're kind of standing here in the middle going, wait a minute, what am I going to do? Hold on. So this is my problem. This one, I'm going to say, here's my problem. I'm going to define the problem. And here's the activity for you to do. Your point of view, you define the problem. What do you think the problem is? Well, I'm going to say, as I mentioned before in that Focus to Pivot course, I believe the problem is the bully. And that respect and truth have to come first, because the bully, I think, is the problem. And then the gang and the money and all of how that works. So yes, the number one exit strategy for gangs is to have options. which is exactly what I am doing. This right here, I'm giving us options and that we have a time to talk about it. So you're taking notes today. The question is greed and money. Are those your MAGA values of greed and money? Are you okay with that? Or what do you think the problem is? And I'm going to say options because I've been reading feedback and I've been doing my own research. And I agree, the options might not be right exactly either. We got to talk about this. And this gets me now to my arsenal of tools. You know, when you decide that you're going to take off that hat, which is the topic we're going to talk about next week, you're going to have some arsenal tools here working with me that are going to help you feel a little more confident about this. And you got 18 weeks or 17 weeks, depending on when you see this, to figure it out. So this levels of thinking, these are my hero thinking steps. And when you get stronger and you get more confident in your reading standard 5, which is cause and effect, and your reading standard 6, which is drawing conclusions and making inferences based on good information and sources, you will have a shield that will be such wisdom around you, it won't come off. And that's something that can never be taken away from you. We're also going to talk about you being the main character of your life. And yes, sometimes you have to put a mask on. Fake it till you make it. This is also tragedy and comedy. Flags, your heritage. Yes. All kinds of flag stuff, all kinds of trophies. And how do you show your gratitude? What are your symbols of strength? What are your pride and crown? Do you have a crown that you wear? I do. I love it. My friend made it for me and I took it up to the North Pole, or the Arctic Circle. And of course, the wand. You know I love my wand. Where's my wand? You know I love the wand. Where's my wand? Woo-hoo! Yay. All right, guys. I got to bring this back. Time to wrap it up. Uh-oh. Wrapping it up. Where am I? That's funny. Okay. I'm back. Thank you for watching this. Let me get back here to my cheat sheet. Okay. Because watch party. Yeah. Primaries. This is the political commentary part. Back to the primaries. They've already happened in New York and California. Some big decisions are already being made. Colorado is voting today on their primaries. So that's happening. Also, I want you to check out the Supreme Court this week. They had some big decisions today about the slush fund and corruption of money that the president has been taking into his own pockets. And again, the question is money and greed this week. Corruption and greed. This is the 4th of July, our big 250th birthday party. How does all that look out there on the mall? Is that what you wanted? I don't know. I'm here. Let's talk about this. Okay? So this is today's common bond testing. We have been talking about money. We're talking about how to kick it up a notch using these arsenal of tools. This is the MAGA Exit Countdown. Here's my sign. Oh, I'm so excited I made it through this first episode. I'm kicking it up a notch. Okay? And special, I want to show you, I brought out my mask. I went and was lucky to see one of the master carvers here in Puerto Rico and made this at the kid demonstration. And so you know what? I'm going to put it on right now. Because you know what? I need to put on my mask. I am brave enough. I am strong enough. And this is the MAGA Exit Countdown. Woo-hoo! All right. totally crazy, something new, something different. 17 weeks. You're going to be voting in November. I'll see you there. You ready? All right, mask off. That's so funny. I love that. Thank you for joining me. Share, comment, subscribe. Let's pick this up a notch. We got 17 weeks. Let's go. All right, bye. Teach a moment. Teach a moment. This is the end. This is the wrap up. Some things we have to see for ourselves. Look yourself at the videos. Look yourself at the speech that the president gave on the 4th of July at about 11:30 at night when he finally got it together to show up and speak. It's hard. It made me cry. I still can't watch the whole thing because I don't think this is the American dream. I really don't. I think it's being betrayed. I really think it's being betrayed. And it's hard to talk about it because it's emotional, it's long term, it's generations. So think back to your grandparents, think back to the 1960s and what went down. Think about the civil rights movement and Vietnam and all of those times when Americans stood up and said, hey, wait a minute, that's not what we're doing. We're not going that way, which is what I think is happening, this political awakening. Okay, so where else? Think about it. And you know, I just heard the news about Lindsey Graham passing away, and I haven't looked at any of those details because I didn't want it to affect this broadcast. Okay, we have to be able to stop our consumption of all the media. We have to learn how to better control it and filter it for solid information that has not been manipulated by AI or has not been spun into propaganda by the political propaganda machine. Okay, so that's my Sunday report. It's time to go outside. Okay, I've been on here. I'm trying to check how long. I don't even know because I can get fired up about this. And I'm trying to stay to the point, get to the action. The process is stoic. Let me just walk us out on this one. Let me just walk us out on this last issue because it's the one that I did the very first when I first started this. Here it is. Is the president betraying you? I'm asking you to consider the issue. This is Argument 101. I want to take the occasion to explore the topic. It's Sunday morning, and this is the Joy West Press, Meet the Press, asking you to consider the issue. Is the president betraying you and everyone? The event that I want to talk today, these are just the facts. I want you to check the facts, look at the original footage about the military actions in Iran. And is this a war? I think it's back. The nature of the event? Well, we talked about the money because yes, it's $1 billion a day. It is affecting the global economy. And now think of what else that money could have been used for. Cancer research, pediatric child genetic issues, all sorts of science and research could have been done with that money, but no, it's been blown up, literally. So the quality of the results, I'm not getting into the unauthorized use, let's just talk, let's skip to the quality of these results. Okay, broken promises, yeah, rising prices, yes, vengeance, yes. He was at it with the Pope. Here's where I'm at with this. Okay.